how to ride a motorcycle in under, hopefully, 15 minutes. I did a short clip of this on TikTok and it lasted about 5 minutes, but I'm going to take things a little bit slowly this time, go around each individual part. But we're going to get straight into this. I'm going to switch to my chin mount and I'm going to take you around the controls of the bike. I've got an idea of a series of going through how to pass your CBT. Now, when people hear how to pass your CBT, the word pass rings a bell and they'll be like, it's a test. It's not a test. You can't fail your CBT. You just get told to come back for more training. It don't go down on the system that you failed your CBT. It just don't work like that. It's compulsory basic training. That's all it is. But I'm thinking of making a playlist, splitting the CBT up into a few different sections in an attempt for folk who are new to biking before they even go to the CBT to have a decent idea of what to expect and how to control the bike before they even get on one. If you're watching this in your CBT tomorrow, you think, shit, I've not watched any videos, I'm cooked. Trust me, you're not. It is literally designed for people to turn up not even knowing what a motorbike is, so don't you worry. But if it makes you feel more comfortable, as it did me, I watched hours and hours of footage before my CBT because I didn't want to be the worst there. But that's just personal to me. You can absolutely turn up and be the worst there. It does not matter, so don't worry. But yeah, let's get straight into it then. Right, first things first, I will take that up. Let's start again. So, the controls on a motorbike, everything down the left hand side is everything to do with your gears, changing gears and setting off, or a part of it should I say. Everything on your right hand side is everything to do with your brakes. So where should we start? We'll start on the left hand side, right? So on this left hand side you've got your clutch. The clutch is used to change gears and also to get to what's called the biting point, which I'll get on to further in the video, to start moving the bike. But every time you want to change gear, put it in gear, whatever, you pull this in and you release it. Down on this left hand side we've got the gear shifter. So down at the bottom is your first gear, half a click up after that you're in neutral, and then a full click up after that you're in second, and then 4 clicks up after that, 3, 4, 5, 6, there you go. One massive thing on this left hand side that you need to look after is this clutch. Respect it, because good clutch control is massively important when it comes to motorbikes, so remember that, store that in your brain for later. On the actual dashboard, now mine looks a little bit messy because I've got this camera plugged in and blah blah blah, but all you really need to know is this is your ignition. This middle bit is where the key goes in. That's the ignition. We turn this once. It's not like a car. You don't turn and then hold whilst the car turns on. You quite simply push it in, and then to turn the electrics on, you do one click to the right, and there you go. Keeping on this left hand side then, you've got your indicators. One massive note with indicators on a motorbike, on most of them anyway, on the older models, they do not self-cancel like a car does. So if I put that left indicator on and I turn left and I straighten back up, the left indicator will still be on. You can imagine how dangerous that is. If you're bombing down the road, maybe an A road at 60 mile an hour, there's a junction coming on the left and there's someone waiting to pull out of it. They'll look at you, think, oh, buzzing, he's got his indicator on, let's get in. I'm in a rush, let me pull out, he's indicating, fuck him. And yeah, you obviously don't turn left because you're not looking to turn left. You've just left your indicator on from the previous junction and you collide with a car. You'll be absolutely stunned to know how many bikers crashed because they've left their indicator on. But you're probably asking, well, how do we cancel it? You very easily press it in like that. A really good habit to build up is when you're on a straight road or after every time you've turned, just give it a few taps. Just give it a few taps, that's all you need. Straight in, not a bit to the left, that turns the left indicator on. Not too far to the right, because that turns the right indicator on. Just press it straight down in the middle, and there you go, it'll turn the indicators off. On the left hand side here you've got your horn as well, just under the indicators on most bikes. It might not be directly under the indicators, it might be up here on some bikes, it might be on left or right, whatever, but it's mostly on the left hand side, so that's where your horn is. Obviously you use the horn when you want to alert other road users or pedestrians of your presence basically. Specifically on this bike, the headlights and stuff like that and the dipped beam and all that, everything to do with the lights is on this little toggle here. Very easily, cheeky flash if you want to flash somebody, maybe to let them go. You shouldn't do really. I think by the book it's to warn other road users of your presence by flashing your lights, but I don't think anybody does that. And main beam is pushed right to the top like this, and then normal daytime running headlights, dipped headlights, is basically just leaving it where it is in its neutral position. Specifically on KTM you don't need to worry about all that. That's just if I want to mess about with my electrics, change the mode, whatever. And obviously for complete beginners, this doesn't move. That's not your throttle, that is over there, we'll get to that. But yeah, this is just a bit of the handlebar with a grip. This doesn't move. Moving over to the right hand side of the bike, we've got the throttle, your kill switch button, which the reason it's called a engine kill switch and the reason it's in bright red is quite simply because in an emergency, if you unfortunately come off your bike and the bike's either on top of you, the throttle's pinned, whatever, or the bike's revving its tits off and you can't reach to this key, you just press that button and the bike will turn off instantly. Whilst that button is on, no matter if you turn the electrics on and try press the start button, it will not work. If that kill switch is on, the engine won't start. Specifically on this bike though, the kill switch is at the top like this, and then to start the bike you just press and hold that button in only after you've turned the electrics on, but we'll get to that. We're just going through the controls and where they are right now. So that's sort of dashboard stuff. Now let's go on to actual controls. So we've covered the left hand side, we've got the gear shifter down there, 1 down 5 up. We've got the clutch here, that's when we want to be changing gears and setting off. So on this right hand side, at the front, we've got the front brake. Well done, very well. And at the back, we've got the back brake lever down here. Something good to remember is that your front brake is 70% of your stopping power. Your back brake is 30%. Quick do's and don'ts: if you're going under 10 mile an hour or you're turning, forget that front brake exists. The reason is, obviously with it being 70% of your stopping power, it's really nippy and strong. So if you're in a slow turn going about 5 mile an hour and you hit a little bit of front brake, it'll lock your front tyre up and then the weight of the bike will drop and you'll probably go with it. So whether you're on a little 125 on your CBT, when you're doing your slow control, your instructor will tell you this, but forget the front brake exists. Do not touch it. We only really use the front brake in main braking conditions or trail braking into corners, which that's just, we don't need to worry about that right now. But yeah, the front brake is if maybe you're just on a normal road coming to a normal stop, you apply that front brake, bit of back brake as you're slowing down, and then when you sort of hit 5-10 mile an hour, you let go of the front brake and then come to a nice controlled stop. But more on braking can be in a different video. The reason for the back brake being 30%, when you're braking in normal conditions, when you pull that front brake, the weight of the bike will completely shift to the front, so the back end will lift slightly. When you apply that back brake as you're front braking, the weight of the bike will distribute itself back to the back of the bike or across the bike like that. You'll see it if you watch some braking videos on YouTube of motorbikes. When they pull that front brake, you'll be able to tell when they pull it because the weight will come up like this, the forks will push down, the back end will go up, and then as they apply the back brake, it distributes the weight to the back and across the bike and the bike levels out. It's all for stability. The back brake is used for stability and slow control, which I'll talk about now. Just quickly, when you're on a motorbike, slow control is simple. We use it when we're going slow. The reason being, when we want to go slow in a controlled manner, given the name slow control, we can't just use the throttle to go faster and slower because that'll be very jolty, it won't be controlled, and the bike will judder at really low revs. So anyway, let's get on the bike and I'll show you how to start it up. So when you want to get on a motorbike, very simple, best practice, always get on from the left. The reason being, when we get on the bike, we want to squeeze this front brake ever so slightly, just so the bike doesn't roll anywhere. And then whilst we're on the bike right now, you'll be like, tense to shit. You'll be like, what on earth do I do? Very simply, first things to do, look down here, you'll have this thing what's called a kickstand. The reason it's called a kickstand is very simple, right? It stands the bike up and you kick it back like so. Just give it a little wee look like that. Yeah, it's up, brilliant, so we can forget about that now. So, right now you'll be sat on the bike, you'll be squeezing this front brake to death. Just relax, alright? What you want to get used to doing is when you sit on the bike, just lifting that right leg up and placing it on the front brake. So you want your ball of the foot on the back brake lever, just like this. So when we come to normal stops, or at traffic lights, junctions, whatever, we always, when we come to a stop, want the left leg down and the right brake with the back brake on. The reason is, if we're in traffic, or we're at a junction or whatever, traffic lights, if we've got that back brake on, if someone hits us, the bike won't really go anywhere, as long as it's not like hit you at 100 bloody mile an hour. But if they hit you at around 5-10 mile an hour, if they're coming to a stop and they're on the phone and they don't see you, whatever it is, the bike won't move as much as it would if you didn't have a brake on. And also, the reason we use the back as opposed to the front, if I squeeze this front brake right now and I get hit in the back, what is the bike going to want to do? I'm going to do some mad stop here like I'm sponsored by Red Bull, and I'm going to go over at bars. So whenever you're at a stop, you're at a junction, whatever, again, forget that front brake exists, just foot on that back brake. But anyway, if you've just got on your bike at your CBT, you can absolutely sit with both legs on the floor like this and just maybe hold this front brake ever so slightly. And obviously if you're on a flat, you don't really need to hold any brake, but they might teach you a little bit different on your CBT day. So to turn the bike on then, we want to flick the electric, the ignition, just once to the right like that, like the electric's built up. And when we want to start the bike, best practice, pull this clutch in. Always want to pull that clutch in. The reason being, most bikes have a neutral green light. That's how you know you're in neutral. This one has obviously an LED display and it shows a little N like that, which is also helpful, but we get this green neutral light here. But the reason we want to pull the clutch in when we start the bike is because if we start the bike and that neutral light is lying to us, which it well and truly could be, it's not, you know, it's not unknown, but if we've got that clutch out when we start the bike and it's in first, most older bikes would start anyway and it'd just jolt and it'd just stall straight away and it won't be a very comfortable experience. Obviously most bikes, if it's in first and you go to start it with a clutch out, it won't start, which is obviously handy. But for most bikes that you'll be on at your CBT school, be old beaten up Hondas and stuff like that, and they probably won't have the clutch sensor in for when you're in first, and you obviously don't have your clutch pulled in and you press start. So we always pull that clutch in. To start the bike, also you should have gloves on. I don't have mine on because I'm absolutely sweating and I need some way to excrete heat right now, if that's even the right way of putting it. But anyway, we want to start the bike. Clutch in. This start button over here, it might just be a button at the bottom here for most bikes. This is just the KTM way, I suppose. To start the bike, you just press and hold this button until the bike starts and let go. Easily done. And if you really want, always let this clutch out ever so slowly, especially when you're beginning, because again, if that neutral light's lying to us and we are in first, if I just jolt out like that, the bike will stall and it won't be a pleasant experience. So to get the bike moving, both our feet are on the floor. We want to look down to this gear shifter, we want to pull the clutch in and then hit down on the gear shifter like so. As you can see, the neutral light's gone off and the number 1 is there. We are now in first gear. I'm not just going to let that clutch go because I'll stall. So now, once you're in gear, you want to get this right leg and just place it ever so softly over that back brake. Not like jabbing it to the floor, because the bike just won't want to move, but just holding your ball of the foot on it. We won't go through manoeuvres and everything right now, as you'll be in an enclosed car park. When you want to move, you want to get to what's called the biting point, or the friction zone as you call it in the US, or just abroad basically from the UK. And it's when you let the clutch out ever so slowly, and when you do, you'll even hear the bike wanting to move, and the bike will start moving itself. So let's have a look then. I'll let the clutch out, I'll let the clutch out, there you go, and the bike's moving. On your CBT day, you'll most likely get to this biting point, pull the clutch in, hold that back brake ever so slightly and just come to a stop like this. Very easy. But to get out of this biting point, now this is just how to ride a motorbike video. If you want a more in-depth video, do let me know. I can provide that. Like I say, I'm thinking of doing a full CBT sort of style playlist for you guys to watch, but just let me know if you want to see that. But ultimately, once we get to that biting point, we want to hold our hand exactly there. And if we hold our hand there and give a little bit of throttle, just a tiny bit, the bike will say, look, I want to move. At that point, our left leg can come up, sit on the peg, we're still on the biting point, and our right foot is just hovering over that back brake. At a point now, when you give a little bit of revs and you let the clutch out ever so slightly, the bike will now move by itself. Now, you will be on a 125, I'm on a 790, so the power of this bike, I'm going 10 mile an hour without even any throttle or anything. You'll probably be going about 5 mile an hour when it comes to a 125. But when you want to come to a stop after this, very simply, back brake first. So in fact, I'll straighten up to show you this. So we want to come to a stop. It's off the throttle, back brake on, clutch in, and come to a nice controlled stop like that. Now, it looks easy on a video. It's not. It is a skill you need to learn. When you first do it, you'll probably come to a stop like that and go like this and probably hurt your nuts, but it is what it is, you're learning. So we'll do that again. The left foot is on the floor, the right foot is covering that back brake. We'll let the clutch out ever so slightly. The bike wants to move. We'll let the clutch out centimetre by centimetre, little bit of revs, let that clutch fully out. And at this point, on a 125, you'll probably get away with giving revs. But on a 790, you don't even have to. Want to come to a stop, back brake covered, clutch in. Nice control stop like that. You'll notice I never even went near my front brake there. You don't want to be touching it, as I've already said. a 790 power for you. So we've covered what the controls are, we've covered setting off, and we've covered stopping. That's all we really need to cover in this video, and I've just put it in second rather than neutral. But yeah, I'll cover that actually. To put it in neutral, like I've said, half a click up, just a little one like that, and there you go. It's sort of all in the feeling. To explain it, it's quite hard, but it's more so in the feeling, and you'll know exactly what I mean when you jump on your bike. And obviously, to turn the bike off, turn the key. Very simple. Kickstand, hit it with the back of your heel, kick that shit down. And when you come off the bike, just for best practice, swing your handlebars to the left, and then get off the bike like that, because it puts all the weight on that kickstand, and that's what you want. It just makes things a little bit more stable. But yeah, that's how to ride a motorbike. Your brakes are on the right hand side. Few things to take away from this video then. Your brakes is on the right hand side, back brake at the back, front brake at the front. On your left at the front, you've got your clutch. Pull this in when you want to change gear or before you want to be setting off, and when you turn the bike on. And your clutch and your gear shifter is 1 down, 5 up, half a click up from the bottom for neutral, 4 full clicks up for 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And that, ladies and gents, is how to ride a motorbike. If I have missed anything out, I do apologise. I'll try, when I'm editing this video, go through, try and remember, and I'll leave a comment on this video if I've missed anything. But that is simply how to ride a motorbike. I don't know how long I've gone on for. Hopefully it's under 15 minutes or... But yeah, if you do want to see that playlist about breaking the CBT down into different sections that I upload as videos onto a playlist, then please do let me know. We'll cover setting off in a little bit more detail, braking in more detail, cornering in more detail, and in fact I'll make it specific for a CBT, so you'll cover your setting off and your stopping, your slow control specifically, your figure of eights, your U-turns, etc. I'll cover all of that and how to do it. U-turns are a bit of a fucker. That's my phone on the floor. You're taking piss. Please don't be broke. Oh, dearie me. Oh dear. It's had a bit of a tough that. Anyway, I think that's signs to wrap stuff up. Anyway, after that catastrophe, let me know if you guys did enjoy this video, if you found it helpful, useful, whatever. If you found it completely useless, also let me know, because I do want to be looking to improve, but don't be nasty. But yeah, let us know if you want to see more, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.